Okay, so today's video is about getting your ads disapproved through Google for having unsubstantiated claims. The actual term that Google likes to use for this is false, misleading, or unrealistic claims. By the time you're watching this video or this happens to you, they may change the wording behind the quote-unquote violation if they have. It's one of their violations that will cause you as the advertiser to not be able to run your ads anymore. So I'm basically going to give you what I know about the problem, working with 100 plus clients that I've worked with where this has come up, how to identify the problem, how to deal with it, what are your various options to get back online. It's not the end of the world, which is what I'll be explaining here in a moment. So anyway, the very first thing I need to talk to you about in this video is, identifying, first of all, you have the problem. Where is the problem coming from? Because ultimately, as we know, you're in your ad account, you get your ad disapproved, you get the error, they don't tell you where you have the issue. And with this actual issue right here, it is very hard to identify what it is that the actual problem is and actually fixing it. Very different than a lot of different other violations that Google have. So anyway, your basic options there are the ads or the landing page in terms of identifying where the problem is. Sometimes the problem can be the language that you're using in the ads. Sometimes it's obviously the language on the landing page that you're taking users to on their site, of course. And so sometimes you have to, if you're not sure, you have to just play a process of elimination and find out for yourself. But for the most part, I've found it's usually the landing page. So I would start there, even though it's the harder one, unless you really think it's the ad. Of course, you just knock that one out first. Anyway, when I call this, there's your legal term from Google as to what, or their actual name for the violation that they have that you're going to get your ad shut down. I really call this unsubstantiated claims violation because what they're trying to do here is, I'm not saying that what you're doing is so much false, if you will, or not true, but you don't have enough backing behind what you're saying to substantiate saying it in the first place. So, i.e., unsubstantiated claims that you're making about the products or services that you're offering. And so what Google doesn't want you is to sell people's dreams back to them. Tell them what they want to hear, if you will, which is good, for most people that's sales 101, which works if your product or service can deliver on that promise anyway, so no harm, no foul there. But what they don't want you to do is to people that use their channel, if you will, to sell something that potentially won't actually deliver on the promise because it seems a little too good to be true, and then letting the bad actors in by not checking everybody that comes through and at least making them verify what they're saying is accurate before letting them run a 10 grand a month ad campaign and rip off thousands of people, if you will. So people don't get discouraged and not want to click on Google ads or even just use Google anymore. Even though there's no competition really out there, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't take Google's place. Nobody's too big to be taken over. Because, same thing could be said with Amazon or wherever. Sears was too big to be taken over at one point in time. So will Walmart, so will Amazon. It's just a matter of time. So Google's aware of that and anyway, trying to protect their users. So anyway, if you have an issue on your landing page where you're not substantiating your claims enough, what you need to do is back up your claims. One of the main things that they identify, and some of this is through their automated system. A lot of it, they still have human reviewers that check your site. The more that you spend on the ads, the more scrutiny you're going to get on your site in terms of these unsubstantiated claims. So you may have no problem one day. Later on, you scale up the campaign, you have a problem. That actually, if you're asking why I have a problem now all of a sudden, that's why. And also, they come re-review your site anyway on a regular basis. Their algorithm, in terms of reviewing the site, their automated system for that also updates all the time, so you can be hit with, the filter could get more stringent at any point in time. And what you have one day to comply with this rule might not be what you always need to do to comply. But what you do the issue or how you deal with it always is the same. You identify, colorful, fluffy language, if you will, where you're saying that you are quote unquote the best, guaranteed. That's the type of words that Google don't like unless you have a way to back it up. Saying you're the best, that actually is intended to mislead people if you aren't actually the best, of course. And the same thing about being guaranteed. Guaranteed what? Like the movie, if you ever seen Tommy Boy, he says, guaranteed, what do you need to guarantee for? I can take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed. I got the time, I'll do it for you. And then, to convince the guy that the competitor's product that it was guaranteed, that it doesn't really mean anything, which is true. If you don't actually back up the guarantee or aren't specific about how it's guaranteed, what difference does it make? So you want to take those terms out, or if you know that those are contributing a good portion of your sales, which they very well could be, you don't want to just strip them out right away, then you'll want to try to back up your claims. So basically, in other words, what you need to make sure that you are able to verify why you're the best, why you're guaranteed, and so on and so forth, or whatever claims you're making. And that's just obviously single words. It could be certain, phrases or paragraphs or whatever, but the best way to verify what you're saying is correct is a government source. Google's never going to argue with that. If you can't get a government source, you can go and get a different third-party source, but just verifying yourself that you are the best through your own company and words and productions, that's not going to cut it. And that actually doesn't make sense anyway, but if you can get somebody else to verify your claims that you're making, you can get creative, obviously. You can get somebody to independently review your product, or you can pay for research studies on your product, so on and so forth. Get them published and then point to them on your claims. What I did in a couple of different occasions is, we would have third-party research papers done that explained the benefits of the product, which Google was disputing at the time, given that the product was kind of a new product and they weren't sure that it could do what we were saying that it could do. And, with that, we pointed to those research studies specifically by putting like a little asterisk underneath the claim being made and then linking to the source. And then on top of that, we cleaned it up a little bit, and we didn't, anything that we didn't have a source for like that, we just took out, even though it would hurt our sales in some way. It really wasn't any way to get around it. We took those off. We were able to get approved after that. So anyway, the third thing on my list that I wanted to cover here was, where this actually comes up often. And that actually is what I call quote unquote fringe niches. So anything that, like make money, business opportunities, dieting, supplements, anything where anybody can kind of say anything, and there's a kind of I don't want to offend anybody, but there's a desperate audience where people want to buy they don't want to work, they want to buy the easy solution. There's a lot of predators, if you will, selling people their dreams. There's certain niches they target and are more strict. Google themselves is more strict on, and they will target you more. So look, if you're in a niche where you could say you kind of fit in a similar category, you need to prove a little bit more than other guys in other spaces where they're not targeting. And with that, you are going to have to do a little bit more in terms of linking to other sources and so on and so forth. In a lot of spaces, no matter what you kind of say, you're really not going to have a problem. And in some spaces, you're going to have to back up every claim. If it's, again, something especially to do in the health category, anything to do with health, if you're not actually explicitly explaining why the product can do what it's supposed to do, you'll get wiped out and just, completely wiped off the map of being able to advertise anything on Google until you update and substantiate your claims. And any time specifically where you're advertising maybe like more than $100 a day in ad spend. So anyway, that pretty much covers all the points I wanted to make about this claim for false, misleading, unsubstantiated claims. If you have any questions about what to do specifically in your unique situation, what you can do, of course, is once you've cleaned things up, you can apply for reconsideration through Google's support department. I recommend going through their chat, because anybody can access that. And if you can't get something done, they won't tell you what to fix, like I'm giving you tips here. So if you really can't figure it out, you can reach out to my firm. We'll give you a free audit on your situation and potentially be able to help you through it. Otherwise, check out some of my other videos here if you get past the issue, and a lot of other similar PPC videos where I go through a variety of different topics like this. Also, you can check out my site. My blog has a lot of PPC money-making strategies. Another place you're going to find in-depth money-making strategies on PPC on the web. So appreciate your time, and good luck with everything.